The shot that changed his name. One gunshot inside a packed Memphis arena turned an underground rapper into the center of a story darker than any song he had ever released. On September 2, Lil Baby was performing at FedExForum when chaos suddenly ripped through the crowd. The music stopped. Fans rushed toward the exits. Security pulled the artist from the stage, and one man was taken to the hospital in critical condition. That man was CEO Jizzle. Hours later, he appeared online from a hospital bed with bandages across his chest and stomach. Instead of showing fear, he delivered a message that spread across hip-hop pages almost instantly. He told people not to pray for him. He told them to pray harder for his enemies. For many viewers outside Memphis, it was the first time they had heard his name, but inside the city, people already knew the reputation following him. Then the case took a turn nobody expected. Weeks after the shooting, Memphis police arrested Kevin Young, a rapper, also known as Cato Two Times. Authorities accused him in connection with the incident, while his attorney denied that he fired the weapon. But the most shocking detail was not the arrest itself. According to the source material, Kevin Young was identified as CEO Jizzle's own brother. Suddenly, this was no longer just another violent night at a rap concert. It became a story about blood turning against blood, private conflict exploding in public, and a family connection that raised more questions than the arrest answered. What could push two brothers to this point? Was the shooting the result of a personal dispute, a larger Memphis conflict, or a story the public still does not fully understand? And that was only the beginning. Because behind CEO Jizzle's hospital video was another reputation, one built through his connection to young Dolph, Memphis street culture, and online allegations that have never been proven in court but refuse to disappear. Tell us where you are watching from. Press 1 if you believe this story goes deeper than a family dispute. Or press 2 if you think the internet has exaggerated everything surrounding his name. Subscribe to the channel, because the next chapter reveals who CEO Jizzle was before the gunfire made the whole rap world look his way. The name behind the hospital video. Before the FedExForum shooting pushed his name onto national hip-hop pages, CEO Jizzle was already known inside Memphis circles, where reputation can matter more than streaming numbers. He was not a mainstream star, and his catalog had never reached the commercial level of the city's biggest artists. But in underground spaces, people did not measure him only by views, chart position, or radio play. They measured him by what they believed he had survived, and what they believed surrounded him. That distinction matters in Memphis. The city's rap culture has always blurred the line between music and lived experience. Artists are expected to sound authentic, but authenticity creates its own danger. Once listeners believe a rapper is describing real life, every lyric becomes a clue. Every social media post becomes a statement, and every rumor begins to look like evidence. CEO Jizzle's music reflected violence, loyalty, betrayal, and survival. Supporters view that material as an honest picture of the environment that shaped him. Critics believe the same material reinforced a public image built around danger. Either way, the music became almost impossible to separate from the reputation. The hospital video intensified that image. He did not appear frightened or defeated, wrapped in bandages, and he spoke directly to the people he believed wanted him gone. The message sounded less like relief and more like a warning that the conflict was not over. For viewers unfamiliar with him, that moment created an immediate question. Who was this rapper? And why did he speak as though being shot inside a major arena was only another chapter in a much longer war? Inside Memphis, the question was different. People who had heard his name before were not asking where the story began. They were asking which old conflict had finally followed him into FedExForum. To understand why the shooting created so many theories, the story has to move beyond one concert and into the culture that shaped both his music and his reputation. Raised inside the Memphis pressure, Memphis rap did not become dark and confrontational with the arrival of drill music. That energy existed long before the current generation. From the haunting sound of 3 6 Mafia to the artists who followed, the city built a musical identity around survival, fear, neighborhood tension, and the emotional weight of living close to danger. CEO Jizzle came from that tradition. In the environment described by the source material, The rap was not treated as a costume artists could simply put on for a video. Credibility depended on whether listeners believed the artist had actually experienced the world being described. That standard created opportunity and pressure at the same time. A rapper whose life appeared connected to the streets could gain attention without major label promotion. But the same reputation could become a trap. The more believable the music sounded, the more people searched for real names, real incidents, and real victims behind every line. Jizzle's public persona grew inside that system. His supporters believed he represented the reality of Memphis without polishing it for outsiders. They saw him as someone documenting what survival looked like from inside the city, rather than explaining it from a safe distance. But documentation and participation are not the same thing. Online audiences often refuse to recognize that difference. Lyrics about retaliation were treated as proof that retaliation had happened. References to betrayal were attached to real people. Dates, location, captions, and songs were placed next to local news reports, as though strangers on the internet were building criminal cases. This created a feedback loop. The street reputation made the music feel more authentic. The music then made the rumors feel more believable. Each side strengthened the other until the image became larger than the facts available to the public. That is why CEO Jizzle's story cannot be explained only through song. His name existed within a larger Memphis mythology, where fear could become promotion, controversy could become discovery, and surviving violence could generate more attention than releasing an album. But one family connection placed him under even greater scrutiny, because he was not only connected to Memphis drill. According to the source material, he was connected to the legacy of Young Dolph, living under Young Dolph's shadow. Young Dolph was more than a successful Memphis rapper. He represented independence, ownership, and the belief that an artist could build power without surrendering control to a major label through paper route empire. He created a movement that extended beyond music and became part of the identity of an entire section of the city. According to the source material, CEO Jizzle was connected to Dolph through family and through the wider paper route circle. That relationship changed how people viewed him. He was no longer judged only as an underground artist. Every move he made could be interpreted through Dolph's legacy, the alliances around him, and the grief that followed Dolph's death. On November 2 2021, Young Dolph was shot and killed inside Makeda's homemade butter cookies in Memphis. The ordinary setting made the loss feel even more shocking. He was not performing, filming a video, or appearing at a dangerous event. He was visiting a neighborhood business. He was known to support. The killing created grief, anger, and endless speculation. Even after men were convicted in connection with the murder, rumors about additional involvement and possible retaliation continued spreading online. People watched everyone connected to Dolph as though each song, appearance, or public statement might reveal what was happening behind the scenes. That attention reached CEO Jizzle. His connection to Dolph made him part of a story much larger than his individual career. Supporters may have viewed him as someone carrying family pain and loyalty. Online observers often viewed him as someone positioned inside an alleged cycle of retaliation. No public court record cited in the source material proves that Jizzle participated in any revenge connected to Dolph's death, but the absence of proof did little to slow the theories. In online communities, proximity was enough. Family connection became motive. Lyrics became coded messages. Silence became strategy. That is the burden of living under a powerful legacy. Dolph's name brought respect, but it also brought attention from people determined to turn every tragedy into a map of alliances and enemies. By the time Jizzle entered FedExForum in September 2023, he was carrying more than his own reputation. He was carrying every theory attached to the paper route circle, and that made the gunfire inside the arena feel like part of something much bigger. The night FedExForum erupted, September 2, 2021, was supposed to be a major night for Memphis hip-hop. Lil Baby brought his tour to FedExForum, with thousands of fans gathering inside one of the city's most visible venues. The show represented everything the rap industry celebrates: national success, major production, and a hometown crowd ready for a spectacle. Then, roughly 30 minutes into Lil Baby's performance, the spectacle became panic. Shots were fired inside the arena. Lil Baby was rushed from the stage. Fans moved toward the exits as confusion spread through the building. A male victim was transported to Regional 1 Health in critical condition. The concert ended immediately. Within hours, CEO Jizzle identified himself as the person who had been shot. His hospital video became the defining image of the night. Bandages covered parts of his torso, and medical equipment surrounded him. But his message contained no visible attempt to calm the situation. Instead, he spoke about his enemies and suggested that the people who wanted him gone had failed. That response made the incident feel personal. If this had been random violence, why speak directly to opponents? If he already understood who wanted him harmed, what conflict had entered the arena with him? Police later described the shooting as premeditated. According to the source material, that detail made the story even more disturbing. This was not presented as a weapon firing accidentally during a crowded event. Investigators believe someone had entered the venue with a plan. The location also changed the meaning of the attack. FedExForum was heavily populated, highly visible, and filled with innocent concert goers. Whoever fired the weapon risked creating mass panic and harming people with no connection to any personal dispute. For CEO Jizzle, surviving the shooting strengthened the reputation already surrounding him. To supporters, he had survived an attempt on his life and refused to appear weak. To critics, the incident was evidence that the conflicts around him had reached a dangerous level. Then police made an arrest, and when the relationship between the suspect and the victim became public, the story moved beyond street rivalry and into something even more painful, a conflict inside the same family. When blood allegedly turned against blood, on September 27, 2023, Memphis police arrested Kevin Young, also known as Cato Two Times, in connection with the FedExForum incident. According to the source material, authorities identified him as a documented member of Rich and Ruthless and charged him with offenses, including reckless endangerment and unlawful weapon possession. Additional weapons and drug-related allegations were also reported, but those charges were not the detail that shocked the public most. Kevin Young was identified as CEO Jizzle's brother. Suddenly, the shooting was no longer framed only as an attack connected to Memphis street conflict. It became an alleged act of violence between two members of the same family, standing near each other inside a sold-out arena. The idea that one brother could allegedly target another in such a public place created more questions than the arrest answered. What had happened between them? Was the conflict personal, connected to outside alliances, or misunderstood entirely? Had years of pressure made family loyalty meaningless? Or was the public being shown an incomplete version of the event? Young's attorney denied that his client fired the weapon and argued that another person inside the venue was responsible. That denial is important. An arrest is not the same as a conviction, and the accusation must not be presented as a proven account of what happened. Still, the family relationship became impossible to remove from the public narrative. The image of two brothers beside each other before gunfire erupted was more powerful than any legal explanation available at the time. The case also exposed the human cost hidden beneath street mythology. Online audiences often discuss loyalty, betrayal, and retaliation as entertainment, but when relatives become suspects and victims, the language stops sounding cinematic. Parents, children, and extended family members are forced to live with consequences that comment sections never experience. The shooting did not simply damage a concert or create another headline. It suggested a family relationship had reached a point where public violence was possible, or at least believable enough for authorities to pursue charges. Whether the case ultimately confirms that version or rejects it, the allegation permanently changed how people viewed CEO Jizzle. His most famous story was no longer about a song. It was about surviving gunfire allegedly connected to his own bloodline. When every lyric became a clue, after the FedExForum shooting, listeners returned to CEO Jizzle's music searching for explanations. Songs that had once sounded like general descriptions of Memphis street life were examined as though they contained a hidden timeline. Lyrics about enemies, loyalty, survival, and retaliation were placed beside real incidents. Social media posts, and public rumors, Jizzle had reportedly presented his work as an honest reflection of lived experience. A track title such as True Story reinforced the idea that his music was connected to reality rather than a fictional character. That claim of authenticity helped build credibility, but it also gave online investigators permission to treat the music as evidence. If the artist said the stories were real, listeners believed every detail could be decoded literally. This is where artistic identity becomes dangerous. A rapper may describe an environment without confessing to every event that happened inside it. He may combine multiple experiences, speak from another person's perspective, exaggerate, or create imagery designed to fit the genre. But audiences rarely leave room for those possibilities once a violent reputation has been established. Social media restrictions reportedly added another layer. Some accounts connected to Jizzle were said to have faced limitations or bans over content platforms considered violent. To outsiders, those restrictions appeared to confirm that he was dangerous. To supporters, being removed from platforms became proof that his voice was too real or too threatening to control. The result was another closed loop. Controversial content created restrictions. Restrictions strengthened the reputation. The reputation made the lyrics appear literal, and the literal interpretation of the lyrics created even more controversy. None of that establishes criminal responsibility. A platform decision is not a court ruling, and a lyric is not automatically an admission. But perception does not wait for legal standards. By this point, CEO Jizzle's music was no longer being heard only as music. It was being treated as a soundtrack to a case the internet believed it had already solved. The most damaging part of that unofficial case came from online communities, where users claimed Jizzle was connected to far more violence than any public criminal record had established. The allegations that swallowed the music. In Memphis-focused online forums, CEO Jizzle's name became associated with allegations far more serious than the FedExForum shooting. Users discussed him not primarily as a rapper, but as someone they believed was connected to multiple acts of violence. Some posts attempted to link him to alleged retaliation after young Dolph's death. Others repeated what became known as the Four Bodies narrative, claiming that Jizzle or people close to him were responsible for several rival deaths during a concentrated period. These accusations were repeated across Reddit threads, YouTube discussions, live streams, and comment sections. Users compared lyrics with dates of local shootings, searched posts for location clues, and created timelines that appeared detailed enough to feel authoritative, but detail does not guarantee truth. The source material clearly states that these homicide allegations have not been established through public criminal charges or courtroom finding. No public record cited in the script proves that CEO Jizzle committed the killings people online have attached to his name. That distinction is essential. Anonymous users can make claims without revealing their sources or accepting responsibility when they are wrong. One rumor can be copied into another thread, repeated in a video, and eventually presented as confirmation, even when every version comes from the same unverified claim. Yet the allegations became the main reason many people searched for Jizzle. The controversy acted as underground marketing. Listeners who had never heard his music discovered him through stories about violence, then searched his songs for evidence supporting what they had already been told. His catalog could not compete with that mythology. A new release might receive attention for a few days, but an accusation could circulate for years. The darker the story became, the more engagement it generated. This created an impossible position. If Jizzle denied everything, critics could call the denial meaningless. If he continued releasing violent music, listeners could use the songs as confirmation. If he remained silent, silence could be interpreted as guilt. The allegations did not require proof to shape his public identity. They only needed repetition. Once enough people accepted the story, CEO Jizzle stopped being viewed as an artist surrounded by rumors and became, in the public imagination, the person those rumors described. More bodies than songs, myth or reality? The phrase "more bodies than songs" survives because it is short, shocking, and easy to repeat. It reduces a complicated person into a single dark image. But behind that phrase are two very different categories: what can be supported publicly and what exists only as allegation. The public record described in the source material supports several important facts. CEO Jizzle was shot during a Lil Baby concert at FedExForum. He appeared online from a hospital bed afterward. Kevin Young was arrested in connection with the incident and was identified as his brother. While Young's attorney denied that he fired the weapon, Jizzle was connected to the wider Young Dolph and Paper Route circle. Those details are part of the documented narrative presented in the source. The alleged killings are different. Online users have accused Jizzle of involvement in multiple deaths, including supposed retaliation connected to Dolph's murder. But the source material also acknowledges that no public criminal charges or court proceedings establish those claims. That does not prove every rumor is false. It means the available evidence does not allow the public to declare them true. The difference matters because reputation can create real danger. Calling someone responsible for multiple killings may attract attention, enemies, law enforcement scrutiny, or retaliation. The people spreading the claim may suffer no consequences if it is wrong. But the person carrying the label cannot simply log off and leave it behind. At the same time, Jizzle's public image has not separated itself from the controversy. The lyrics, hospital message, and commitment to a hard street persona have all allowed the mythology to keep growing. Authenticity brought him credibility, but it also created a prison where every word could be interpreted as evidence against him. That may be the real story. CEO Jizzle became known not because the public carefully examined his music, but because tragedy, family conflict, Young Dolph's legacy, and unverified allegations formed a narrative more powerful than his catalog. Whether that narrative reflects reality, exaggeration, or a mixture of both remains unresolved. What is clear is that once an online reputation becomes larger than the artist, facts struggle to catch up. The final chapter must ask whether surviving that reputation is truly success, or whether the same image that brought attention could eventually destroy everything attached to his name. When reputation becomes a prison, CEO Jizzle's story is not only about one rapper, one shooting, or one family conflict. It is about what happens when reputation becomes more powerful than evidence. According to the source material, he survived being shot inside FedExForum, publicly responded from a hospital bed, and became tied to a case involving his own brother. Everything beyond those documented events, especially the claims connecting him to multiple killings, remains unproven in court. Strategically, the danger is obvious. A hard street image can attract attention faster than a marketing campaign. It can make listeners believe the music is authentic, create loyalty among fans, and separate an artist from thousands of competitors. But the same image can also trap that artist. Every lyric becomes a possible confession. Every post becomes a possible threat. Every tragedy becomes another chapter. People attached to the brand. That kind of attention may build notoriety. But notoriety is not the same as a stable career. A reputation built on fear can bring views while pushing away sponsors, venues, business partners, and opportunities that require trust. More importantly, it can keep real conflicts alive long after the original moment should have ended. The lesson is not that artists must hide where they come from. The lesson is that documenting pain and glorifying retaliation are two different choices. Music can describe survival without encouraging another family to experience loss. Strength does not have to mean escalation. Loyalty does not require endless revenge. Fans also carry responsibility. Repeating an allegation without proof can place real people in danger. Anonymous posts, edited clips, and street rumors should never replace court records or verified reporting. It is possible to discuss controversy without turning speculation into a death sentence. For CEO Jizzle, the biggest challenge may not be proving how tough he is. It may be escaping a public identity that has already become larger than his music. The question now is whether he can turn survival into growth, or whether the reputation surrounding him will keep writing the story first. Comment 1 if you believe he can rebuild his image through music. Or 2, if you think the controversy has already become too powerful. Tell us where you are watching from. Like the video, share it, and subscribe for more rap stories told with context, caution, and respect for the truth.